So I'm finding myself in a fucking shitty position. I guess it's not super shitty. It kind of is super shitty. As some of you guys remember, like a year and a half or so back, I think more than that now. Well, about a year and a half. When I moved back down to Florida, I was having a rough time, finding a place at first, and there was pressure to hurry up and find a place. I was talking about, the fact that, well, joining the army might be a thing that I would have to do if it just didn't work out with me finding a crib in time and whatnot. But now I find myself in that same kind of position again, just because of work. I've been playing with the idea of doing the reserves for a while because wife's off birth control. Of course, it's an intentional thing, and we're thinking about, the idea is to have a third and tie the tubes. And so, there's the healthcare thing I was thinking about, to try and save on healthcare costs and whatnot, to just do the reserves to get TRICARE, because TRICARE is pretty cheap. So there was that, but there was a nagging, thing in the back of my head saying, maybe pump the brakes on that, reserve thing for a minute. Why? Because if I hop in the reserves, then that takes active duty off the table. Now, for those of you that know a little bit something about this, you're like, what? It's not necessarily take it off the table. It virtually does, man. Yes, it is possible to go from from reserve to active duty and whatnot. But everybody that I've talked to that personally tried had a very rough time of it. And it's kind of like basic training, where the drill sergeants tell you the fastest way to complete the fastest way to get out of basic training if you want out is to complete it. It's true, because there are people that have like mental breakdowns and shit. They're like, oh my god, I can't do this. I want to go home, and they just they're like, fuck yeah, we'll take you home, we'll get you out of here. But unless you do something like to fuck somebody up or hurt yourself or something, they're just gonna keep you in the shit. So that's what I'm thinking. Fuck, man, like how the fuck am I gonna, if I do the reserves and I need to bug out, because if the situation gets bad for whatever reason, then I'll be fucked for however much time my contract is gonna be for. And today is a prime example of why I've been holding off. So I got a safety write-up at work today, and it was for something that was really stupid. The other day I was going to, semi-tractor tires are pretty big, and for those of you guys that have worked in the business or been around the shop or whatever, seen it, to seat these tires on the rim, you need to use what we call a bazooka. It's you fill it up with 100 pounds of air, and then you pull out the handle and it blows it into the tire real quick, and it seats the bead, so that way you can actually inflate the tire properly. Well, I'm in a funk, and I guess this is probably part of it too. I've been hating my life at work since I came off the night shift to go back to days. I've just not seemed to get my groove properly. Every time I think I'm straight, something happens where I'm just like, it throws me off and it fucks up my head. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been focused a lot about what's going on at the house, like with my personal work, more so than the actual job, which is taken away from that too. But so I go to seat the tire, but I did it in a way that I shouldn't have. I did it up against the fucking wall with an air chuck off of the wall. I was like, and in my head I'm thinking, I'm just gonna seat the bead, and then I'm gonna take it to the tire cage and inflate the tire in the cage. Not a big deal. It'll take 2 seconds. I'm thinking, bump, seat, the air pressure seats it up, and we're good to go. Right at the time I'm doing that, the boss man walks through, and he's like, hey man, are you inflating that tire here? I'm like, no, I'm not trying to inflate the tire here. I'm just trying to seat the bead real quick, and then I'm going to take it to the cage. Of course, it comes off seeming like a lie. It seems like I was just trying to cover myself, which it really wasn't. I really was going to do that, but still shouldn't have been doing it that way. So he's like, hey man, just stop what you're doing, take it to the cage. No problem. Did. Rolled it over to the cage. And part of the reason why I didn't want to do that shit too is because it's been fucking raining a lot, man. And the cage is not really undercover. It's right out there in the open for me to get my fucking head rained on. So I was like, whatever. So I did that anyway. I took it to the cage, aired it up, and that was it. Today I get the call up to the office. And you need to get the call up to the office 9 out of 10 times. It's not something good. So I'm like, oh boy, here what the fuck it is, and I'm thinking something stupid for some other shit, but it turned out to be that. And here's the problem with that: I had a safety violation about 3 or 4 months ago from smacking a truck. The very first time in all of my years as a mechanic, you know, I'm talking about Army and everything. I have never backed into a truck or anything like that in the parking lot. Never hit one. Had my first impact ever. So now we are at 2 safety violations. And what I was just told is I can't even get a speeding ticket. Like, you can't even get a speeding ticket outside of work, bro. Nothing. You cannot get pulled over for running a stop sign or anything like that that could be safety related, because that's called grounds for termination. We got to write you up. If we have to write you up, that's it, man. Strike 3. Now, why is this such a big deal for me, right? I don't like diesel work. And but fleet is definitely the way to go. I've talked about it multiple times in here that I like, you know, overall the company's fine. It's the longest job I've ever worked outside the Army. I have no intentions of leaving until I can make VHP engines successful. My thing is, I think that I'm really close to it. I think I'm on the cusp of this, you know, where I can actually make sustainable money off of it. I only have to make like $850 a week to be straight. You know, or I think 800. If I'm making $800 a week, I'm living comfortably, right? I don't think I'm there yet, though. I think that even if I quit my job and spend all my time advertising and focusing on building engines, I don't think I'm there yet. I need to be before I can walk away. I need to be comfortably. So I can't just lose my job and be okay, you know. And then if I to go try and find another fleet job, which will pay me good. It takes time. The processing takes time, drug testing, all that shit. I can't, you know, we got money in the bank, but not so much money in the bank where I feel comfortable missing 2 weeks of pay, you know? Not at all. So I got a problem. Like, what the fuck, what can I do? And, you know, if I go to another job, if I transfer out of the company or whatnot, I'm looking at a possibility of a step down in pay. And then the ideas, you know, recently with getting back in shape and, you know, and losing the fucking weight and everything and being okay and actually looking forward to my workouts and everything, I'm thinking, you know, I actually wouldn't mind trying the Army again, just because of the fact that I'm in the best shape I've ever been. Because even though I was skinnier when I enlisted, you know, obviously I was small then, I was never as strong as I am now and motivated to actually do the physical side of shit. So I think that I could probably do well. And then there's always this thing I've said to myself and said to my wife and shit and anybody I talk to about it, that I wish that I would have joined the Army informed. Like, I wish I would have enlisted knowing how the system works, because I would have done better. And I think I'd probably still be in, you know, being able to pick a better MOS and everything. And now I'm faced with that, you know. I've talked to the recruiters twice since I've got out. Once when I was in West Virginia, and once when I was talking about doing this a year ago. And yeah, so I can reclass and all that shit, and possibility of re-enlistment's there until I'm 45, because apparently it's like they use your time of enlistment and then they like double it or whatnot past the waiver age. So I'm good to go back in for a long stretch of time, and that's made me, you know, feel pretty good and comfortable about that situation. But you know, so anyway, like I was saying, you know, I've thought about the ideas of going back, and my wife's not too happy for it. Now, 3 or 4 years ago, she was all for it, but now she's like, nah, fuck that. And I understand, man, it's just a hassle. Plus, you know, I have so many engines laying around that I'd have to either find storage or offload them. It's just, re-enlisting comes with its own set of problems. And I literally just finished signing the paperwork for my mortgage loan as of today. Like, I just sent it out. And even then, that's not too much of a hassle. I mean, we could always put the house up for rent or whatnot and put it for sale. And I know that you know, I have a close enough friend here, you know, Blake, that if I were to need to work some things out with the family staying behind while I'm in training or whatnot, that, you know, could be taken care of. And depending on the MOS I pick or whatnot, depending on how long, or if I don't reclass, I go straight back in as a mechanic. Or if I do reclass, which is most likely what I'd like to do if I'm going to go active, then there's that training time that would be added on to the 6-week thing that I have to do. So it could be potentially gone for half a year. The thing is like I think I need another year or two to make VHP engines a thing, you know. So it's like, can I keep myself from fucking doing anything that's gonna warrant a safety violation? And now my boss told me they're happy with my work and they're not going to hit me for anything petty, like safety glasses or anything like that. But, you know, I really didn't think the tire thing would be that big a deal. And it sure as shit was. And then there's the whole thing with, you know, speeding ticket. Now, I'm not going to knock on wood. I haven't had a ticket in years. But fuck's sake, man, you know, man, that's just crazy. I know that, you know, recently my uploads have been fucking probably not the most engaging for everybody that's here. And like, I know like the podcast things I'm leaning on because that's the easier content. I have other things I want to talk about, but they're not super fucking exciting topics either. So I don't know, man. I'm just trying to finish work that I have at home, and I'm making small steps into finishing the Integra. To say about that, you know, I think the Integra is going to be a big part in a way of me being able to make VHP engines, like for real. You know, Eddie gave me a trick to get around the whole throttle cable thing, so I don't have to change the throttle cable, and on top of that too was I got the couplers for the turbo kit. So the turbo kit, I'm just missing one fucking pipe for it to be 100%. And then you know, you're pretty much ready to tune at that point. I just need Eddie to chip my damn ECU, and I'll be good to go. So, but I don't know, man. Like, I would like a break from the bullshit of my work and actually going back into the Army and just knowing how simple it is. You know, at the end of the day, just stay in shape. Be where you're supposed to be, right time, right uniform, and it's a simple life. It'd be easy. It would take a lot of stress off my shoulders. So there's that. But then, you know, like what inevitably comes of the YouTube thing. Like if I do that, you know, depending on where the fuck I wind up as a duty station is, depending on whether I can build engines or whatnot. And that is an issue. And then there's the issue of me being able to just take vacation days and fly out whenever I want. It would also be an issue. So when I say I need 2 years to make VHP engines work, I don't think that taking 2 years to go to the Army would be beneficial. I think it might push me back some, if anything. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I guess this is just a way for me to vent a little bit. Of course, I'm taping myself, and my weight's back down. I was back down to 215 this week. So I'm at 21% body fat, and you know I need to be at 24% to be able to be eligible for enlistment. So I'm good to go like right now. And judging how the recruiters work, I could be in boots like with the quickness if I really wanted to go fast. But I don't know. It's just I'm gonna go talk to the recruiters again Monday, weigh my options. You know, talk to them about reclassing or whatnot. And I just looked at the pay grade charts, man. With E4 over 4 years is like $2,500 a month base pay. So with BAH, where I would actually be right around what I'm making right now. So it's not even that bad of a thing on income anymore. Because that was another thing for a long time. I was like, well, the Army isn't going to pay me what I'm making as a civilian. So, and right now it looks like they probably could. So, fuck, man. I just, cross fingers for these guys, man. Like, I hope I don't have to do this, man. I'm trying to push hard. Hopefully the Integra, what I'm crossing my fingers for really is that, I don't know. I don't even fucking know. I'm just kind of winging it, man. I was hoping to have the Integra done, have tuned. I don't care if it drives or not, but just have it tuned. And then, SEMA's right around the corner at the end of October and the beginning of November. So go out there, meet with Jesse again, see who I meet out there. I don't know. I need something to happen to really kick this off so I can start making money off this shit for real. Because if not, there's a potential. I think that if I go back in the Army right now, that this time I'll be better. I'll be better suited. Fuck, man, it might just be better for me to just say to hell with the industry or to hell with the engines and just go fucking, keep my head down in the Army for Uncle Sam for another fucking 15 years and just retire out of there. I don't have to stop building engines and cars. It's just not going to be as easy depending on where I end up at, and I think that this time around, if I go back in with the knowledge I have and reclassing so that way I can better focus on promotions, and I'm physically fit enough that I'm pretty sure I can fucking study up and pass a goddamn promotion board. Some of the people that I know that are fucking, E6s now are like, oh fuck, I didn't see that happening. I don't know, maybe that just is, I've said a couple times, I've spoken it out loud in the universe, I wouldn't mind doing it again, and maybe God is just pushing me in that direction. Maybe that's what he's doing, like, hey, look, man, maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you just need to go back in. I don't know. I'm just kind of going with the flow. I'm just going to keep going through it. Things are as they are now, and I'm going to go talk to recruiters, have them weigh me and tape me up. I'm like, hey, look, I'm passing tapes. That way, I'm a serious candidate. Not like I'm just fat having fucking army dreams, because I'm seriously good to go. Then I'll be able to get their fucking attention. We can seriously talk about what the fuck my options are, and I'll keep that as in my back pocket for the meantime, just in case some shit goes south. But and I don't know, man. It's just I haven't been on shaky grounds in a job in so long. The better part of more than a decade. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever felt insecure on my job. Even when the whole craziness happened in West Virginia and I got bumped out of my seat, I knew my job wasn't really at risk. It was just a position. That's not the case anymore. So, I don't know. Well, just thoughts and prayers, guys. We'll see what happens. Peace.